Boom! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your boy Nolan Hawkeye Anthony here, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic Saturday wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Ooh, sounds really good. I like it. I like it. I really do hope all you guys are having a fantastic Saturday. And I got to start with this. You guys have been absolutely incredible. The channel has just skyrocketed, and we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. I mean, it really is incredible. I reached, as I keep telling you guys, the threshold is 4,000 logged hours watched by you guys, the fan, and 1,000 subs. And we did it. We're over the 4,000, but we aren't quite to the 1,000 subscribers yet, but we will get there. It's funny. I did not expect to be over 1,000 subscribers by the time basketball season rolled around. I thought that we would be here when the basketball season came around, and I think we'll be over 1,000 subscribers by, I don't know, within 2 games here. So it is just incredible. I am so grateful. I really am. If there's not a dang thing that you believe coming out of my mouth, I really do hope that you believe that. I have a ton of fun doing this. I really do. I'm just a guy who, yes, I played Division I water polo, but I am just a massive Iowa fan. At the end of the day, that's all I am. Just a massive Iowa Hawkeye fan. And, living in California, this was really the only way that I could see doing something like this or spending time with fellow Iowa fans. Otherwise I didn't really think it was going to be possible. By the way, guys, I'm just sharing this out. So just hold on a second. I'm just sharing this out. And if you can share this out, if you're one of the people watching, that would be great. Oh, by the way, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot when you guys do that. We are so close to 1,000. Help me get over the hurdle so we can monetize this channel and really have fun with this. And because the bottom line is, the way I do this now is a hobby, but the more successful it is, the more time I can put into this. And that's not me begging. That's not me saying that you need to support so that I can. No, that's not what I'm saying. But that is a reality that, when you guys help out, the more you guys help out. And if you want to, I do have a PayPal link in the description. So that will allow me to do more. I mean, I'll give you guys an example. For a while now, I have a master's degree in psychology. And so I love what I do. I love working with people. I love doing things like that. But I also love doing this. I love sports. I always have. And one of the ideas that I have is taking this on the road and going to Iowa City and filming and really showing what the Iowa culture and Iowa atmosphere is like in a way that no one has been able to do inside the Iowa program or outside yet. I would interview you, the fans, above anything else. I would interview you, the fans, because some of you guys have emailed me and asked me, Nolan, why don't you have former Iowa players on? And the answer is I have. I've had Chuck Yagla, the former national champion wrestler, on. And when I first started to do this, when I first started to do this, me and Cavante Martin Manley had a little deal that we worked out. And he was a part of the podcast. Now, on a side note, I want to tell you guys that he never mentioned anything disparaging about the Iowa program. Okay. Never. If he did, then I would have been honest and told you guys about that, but he never did. And at the end of the day, he did not realize what my goal was and how that could have helped his clothing line and what he was trying to do. And it didn't work out. And that's fine. That's totally fine. What I'm trying to say is that the reason I do not interview Iowa fans left, right, Iowa players left, right, and center is, quite frankly, they're boring. A lot of times they give the same generic answers to everything, and it's boring. I'm not saying that I am opposed to it, but I also don't think that it would be something that I would absolutely positively do. So that is my answer to that. I hope that doesn't bother you guys, but in my experience so far, I'll tell you guys something else. I would rather, and I'm about to start doing this. I have a call-in system where you guys can call like a number that I have and you guys can be on the show. I would rather do that than interview Iowa players because it's just more entertaining. So that is what I am talking about when I say that that's how I feel, because this is a fan hangout. We are fanatics of Iowa sports. That's not to say that I would never interview any Iowa person, because I have. Like I said, I've had Chuck Yagla on. I had former starting point guard Brody Boyd on the channel. I wish I could have got him on a few more times, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. And like I said, I had Cavante Martin Manley on the show. So I'm not opposed to it. I just think it is far more entertaining to talk to fans. That's why I read your guys' comments. That's why I do all of that. All right, guys, here we are. Again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and help this channel get over the 1,000 subs. The question of the day for me is, do you guys think that the Iowa wide receiver and Tyler Goodson specifically will get on track towards what we saw or what we were expecting in the preseason? There haven't been many things that I have been wrong about with this Iowa team. I said that this was one of the most talented teams that Kirk Ferentz has ever coached. I was right about that. I said Iowa State was going to suck. I was right about that. They don't suck, but they're not as good as what most people thought. I said that Iowa was by far. I said Wisconsin was not as good as people thought. I was right about that. So the bottom line is, but however, one thing I was wrong about was the wide receivers. I was big on Tyrone Tracy because what we had seen from him in his limited duty was good. It was solid. Everything we saw from Tyler Goodson was also very solid. So I had a lot of hope that they were going to be absolutely incredible. So I want you guys to comment on, do you guys think that Tyler Goodson and the wide receiver group will ever get back on track? In my opinion, I think that the only answer, the only solution for the Iowa wide receiver group is to go at it as a group, meaning they throw a bunch of bodies at it. 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that they throw at it. And that's how they do it. Because it, and the example I give is that it's very similar to, by the way, guys, if you're not following me on Twitter, go over there and follow me on Twitter. I don't go on there a ton, but it always helps. So just go over there. Iowa has the second longest active win streak at 12 games. At 12 games, Iowa has the second longest active win streak behind Oklahoma, and they are in front of Georgia and Kentucky. Incredible. I was thinking and I get to your guys' comments here in a moment. I'm just trying to get more people in here. I was thinking the other day about just how excellent of a second act, if you will, Kirk Ferentz has had. I remember when CJ Beathard, when Jake Rudock was the quarterback, Iowa was in this weird position where they were good, but they weren't excellent. They weren't great. And I remember that Iowa was starting to become, what was the saying that it was Kirk 2.0, Kirk Ferentz 2.0, meaning that Kirk was being more aggressive. He was going for it on fourth down, this, that, and that. And on top of that, it was a big decision to switch the Iowa Hawkeyes and how they go about recruiting, how they develop talent, their game plan. And in my opinion, the biggest change has been recruiting. Iowa does a ton more due diligence and things like that. And I would say the other change has been Iowa being open to being flexible on the offense. Touchdown! Oh, that's how he does it. Oh, like that. So really quickly, guys, I want to show you guys Caleb Johnson. I did an analysis video. You guys can check that out on my YouTube channel. This is an excellent get by the Iowa Hawkeyes. It is excellent. This guy, I remember when Iowa was high on him before the season started, and I saw some of his skills, and I was like, Iowa's got to get this guy. However, it was looking like Iowa State was going to get him, but he is like, I remember looking at his tape. He's 6'1". He's 210 pounds. He's explosive. He's strong. He's got a great build. And Iowa was able to flip him. And now it does make me question whether or not Devin Hilson, the one running back that they took last year, might actually move over to linebacker. Maybe that's why they took two running backs. I'm not sure. But either way, Iowa has an excellent recruiting group of running backs in the 2022 recruiting class. In fact, I can't remember a better running back haul than this one right here. Both the two running backs that Iowa has committed in the 2022 class are both rated higher than Tyler Goodson was. Okay. Now, it's not all about the rankings. I get that. It's not all about the rankings. And I'm the first to say that. Okay. When I evaluate talent, I evaluate it based on my eyes, me watching what it's all about. But it was incredible, the haul that they have. Liddell Betts did an excellent job. I was a little bit concerned about him in the beginning, but he looks to be doing excellent. And let me tell you another coach that is doing great on the recruiting trail, George Barnett, the offensive line coach. He was actually the primary recruiter for Caleb Johnson. I'll show you guys that when I show you guys his profile. I'm going to read this to you guys here. The Iowa Hawkeyes played in one of the biggest games in the last 35 years over the weekend when they defeated the then number 4 Penn State Nittany Lions 23-20. It was the first top 5 showdown inside Kinnick Stadium since 1985 and the first such showdown to not feature either Michigan or Ohio State in the Big Ten since 1962. But the big game was historic, not just for its on-field implications, but also because of the potential future impacts it will have on the Iowa roster. The Hawkeyes coaching staff pushed all their chips onto the table for last Saturday's showdown by hosting more than 80 recruits across the classes of 2022, 2023, and beyond. That included some very high-profile names that have been given a lot of publicity. One name that was a bit of a surprise was Ohio running back Caleb Johnson. By the way, guys, it was a bit of a surprise. In the initial list that I showed you guys of the recruits that were going to be on campus, Caleb Johnson was not one of them, and I'll tell you why. I guarantee you that because he was committed to Cal, he asked the Iowa coaching staff to keep it on the DL that he was coming to visit. And it makes sense. I've known recruits who have done the same thing because the bottom line is, if you're not sure about your decision, you don't want to be caught dancing with another partner. All right. One name that was a bit of surprise. Anyways, Johnson was one of Iowa's top priorities at running back in the early goings of the 2022 recruiting cycle, but the high 3-star back committed to Cal over the summer. That's why it was a bit of surprise when he appeared inside Kinnick Stadium on Saturday afternoon. Iowa's big-time performance clearly left an impression on the impressive running back as he announced his decision to flip his commitment from Cal to Iowa late Monday night. And here is his thing right here. His little, nice. Johnson is an impressive back out of Hamilton, Ohio. He's a bigger body at 6'1", 210 pounds. Entering his junior season, he uses that big body to power through would-be tacklers. But perhaps more impressive is his ability to hit the jets and outrun everyone on the field. Despite his size, Johnson boasts 4.4 speed, according to his huddle profile, and sure seems to back it up on film. So there you guys have it. I'm going to show you guys his recruiting profile real quick, just to show you who was his top recruiters and his rankings. He is very much a high 3-star. He might end up a low 4-star. I would not be surprised. And George Barnett was the primary recruiter on this, with Liddell Betts as the secondary guy. So there you guys have it. I'm going to pull up here PFF, some Pro Football Focus grades, so you guys can see the Iowa rankings so far. And I will also get to your guys' comments here in a second. Here is Spencer Petras at number 16, according to Pro Football Focus, with a grade of an 88. And, I don't know how much more the Spencer Petras haters can stay on the hate train. I really don't. Now, I'm not saying that Spencer Petras has been amazing, because I don't think he has, but I also cannot deny the fact that this guy has won, what is it? Iowa 6-0, 12 straight games. He has won 12 straight games, and he is the winningest Iowa quarterback in history so far. It's absolutely incredible. It really is. Say what you will about him, but at the quarterback position, he knows how to win football games, plain and simple. And, looking back at my collegiate career, I mean, I've only known a handful of guys who, yes, they were talented, but their biggest talent was how strong of leaders they were, how excellent they were. All right. Here is the running back position right here. As you guys can see, Tyler Goodson is ranked as the 175th best running back in the class, for Iowa right now. Ivory Kelly Martin is 271st. And to be honest, the other Iowa running backs are not much better. So hopefully that improves. I don't know if it will, but hopefully it does. Let's look at tight end here real quick. Let's look at tight end, see what the KPOS is there. Here, I'll just show you guys this. Wow, Sam Laporta out of the top 50. Sam Laporta out of the top 50. Dang. Here, there we go. Sam Laporta is 73rd. He's ranked as the 73rd with a grade of 66.2. And Luke Lachey is 160th. All right, I'm going to read your guys' comments here real quick. Let me read your guys' comments here real quick. Right quick. All right. Gosh, I hate being able to – I hate keeping this video up. Anyways, all right, let's read your guys' comments. Mike O'Moran, 24-17 Iowa. Hi, Hawkeye. What's up, Nolan? Happy Hawkeye Saturday. What's up? Hi, Hawkeye. It is indeed. You know, one of my favorite feelings of all time, okay, is, you know, playing sports on a Friday night, and then you get a win, you win the game, and then on Saturday morning, you know that the Iowa Hawkeyes have a big time game. There isn't a much better feeling in the world. I'm just being honest about that. You know, I've always remembered it, and I still remember it. Anyways, CJ Smith, we back, boys. What's up, CJ? Best Hawkeye show on YouTube. Hi, Hawkeye. Thanks. I really appreciate it. I really do. We're in this together, guys. We're in this together. Michael Morin, haven't heard that name in a while. Thanks for the blast from the past. Shay Amos, I was going to ask you that one time if you can have join you in the call. I can. There's a thing that I use, or excuse me, that I paid for, where I can send the number for you guys to call, and I can use that. I do plan on using that in the future. I'm not ready to use it today, but like I said, I would much rather interview you guys, the Iowa fans, than any Iowa player. And I get it. Some of you guys might not like it, but this is about entertainment. This is about Iowa fans getting together. It doesn't mean that I don't plan on interviewing any Iowa players in the future. I definitely plan on having Chuck Yagla back on because he was an awesome guest. But just because a guy plays for Iowa, it's not the end all be all to me. It has to be entertaining. All right. CJ Smith, have you thought about collaboration with the Washed Up Walk On podcast? They're pretty cool guys. I haven't seen much of their stuff, but I would be open to it. I'd definitely be open to it. There's no doubt about it. Hi, Hawkeye. Tyrone Tracy over and under reception yards, 44.5. Nice. Carlos Danger, Bruce Y, and Johnson involved. It get real ugly for the beer makers. Rudock was vanilla ice cream while Beathard was strawberry. Guys, Beathard is probably my favorite quarterback in even more than Ricky Stanzi. And, you know, also CJ Beathard is doing a pretty good job up in Jacksonville. He was easily my favorite Iowa quarterback. He was awesome. Iowa's interceptions, -1.5. Michael Stone, what I've noticed about this team more than any Iowa team seen in many decades is that they seem to have truly learned how to win. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Something about this team that seems very special. I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. Sean Green 2.0, maybe. Sean Green was a little bit thicker. He was more of he had a little bit more thickness in his body than Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson is a little bit more explosive. By the way, guys, don't be surprised if Iowa picks up a commitment this weekend. In fact, I'm expecting that Iowa picks up at least one commitment this weekend. You want guys who continue to improve, guys who work up continuously. A lot of big name recruits are wore out by the time they go to college, from Blake Jamieson. I would agree with that. Galen Sankey, Indiana is playing Michigan State tough. Blake Jamison, attitude, health, discipline, and humbleness. Go Hawkeyes. Michael Stone, hi Hawkeye. Those teams were amazing, but they're just something different about this team. They seem to have figured out how to win. That's what the Ohio State, Oklahomas, and Alabamas do not understand. LeRae Montag, let's go Iowa. Is it me or just that Alabama guys not pan out to their NFL draft position and number of drafts? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't really pay a ton of attention to Alabama guys. LeRae or Galen Sankey, no Riley Moss today. Thank you for that update. All right, guys, I'm going to show you guys a few more rankings. Let's look up the scores real quick across the Big Ten. We will look at the there we go. We will look at Purdue, see what you guys can expect there. Indiana is up on Michigan State. If I'm being honest, guys, we need Indiana to win. We need Indiana to win this game. Minnesota is beating the brakes off of Nebraska. Guys, how many more times do I need to say that Scott Frost is not the real deal? I get that the media wants Nebraska to be good, but Nebraska sucks. They have sucked for the last 5 years. They suck. They suck. They suck. I don't know what else. I don't understand why there is such, you know what it really shows? It really shows how important of a human sentimentality really is. It really does make people make wrong choices. Northwestern is up on Rutgers. That would be a big win for the Big Ten West. They are up 14-7 against Rutgers. And then later today, Wisconsin plays Army. I actually think Army is going to beat Wisconsin, guys. I really, really do. So, all right, let's look at a couple more Pro Football Focus rankings here. I want to show you guys Tyler Linderbaum's grade. It's incredible. He is number 1 and has a grade of 92.2. And as a matter of fact, this is Iowa has a few mid-season All-Americans here, right here. ESPN mid-season All-American. Let's go down here. Tyler Linderbaum is right there, right here, and the mid-season All-American. And on defense, Matt Hankins is on there. But Riley Moss is also on a few other mid-season All-Americans. And I'm trying to find it. Maybe I can find it another time. But just take my word for it. Riley Moss is also on another preseason All-American list, which is a big deal. All right, a couple more grades, and then we will do the preview. Let me see here. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I found it, y'all. Don't even worry. 10 things we expected. Iowa State would disappoint. I figured the top 10 ranking was a bit too high, and I predicted 4 losses for the Cyclones, which could very well happen. And here is the defensive All-American list team right here, and Matt Hankins is second team. Let me show you guys their PFF ranking real quick. They really are kicking tail. And there's 2 other guys that could be considered for the All-American list, Caleb Shudak and Torrey Taylor. Matt Hankins is first in the country, and Riley Moss is 8th in the country when it comes to the Pro Football Focus rankings. Let me show you guys one more really quickly, PFF grade, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. Probably already spent too much time on it. Connor Colby, the true freshman, is 4th in the country with a grade of 83.4. Justin Britt is 8th with a grade of 80.5, and Cody Ince is 24th. Guys, the problem on the offensive line is definitely at the tackle position, not on the inside. Some of the highest graded players in the country are on the inside of this Iowa offensive line. It is the tackle position that Iowa is definitely struggling. All right, let's take a look at this preview real quick. The Boilermakers are coming off a bye week and are itching to spoil Iowa's season yet again. Can the Hawkeyes stave off a Purdue upset? How do Kirk Ferentz and the Iowa Hawkeyes get to celebrate one of the program's biggest wins in decades by being forced to deal with one of the largest thorns in the program's side? By the way, Iowa is 11.5-point favorites. Fresh off its thrilling home victory over Penn State, Iowa will play host to Jeff Brom and the Purdue Boilermakers, a team that has beaten the Hawkeyes in 3 of their last 4 meetings, with Iowa's 1 victory being a far closer game than it had any business of being. Here are a few key factors to the game on Saturday. Can anybody cover David Bell? The junior wide receiver chose to attend Purdue over Iowa and has absolutely scorched his spurned suitor over the past 2 seasons. Bell has put up video game numbers against Iowa, 26 catches for 318 yards. But he is also going up against 2 of the highest rated cornerbacks in the country. I'm not going to read all of this. It's far too much. Can Iowa avoid being lured into mismatches by the Boilermakers and their creative play designs? Can Phil Parker finally solve the riddle that is David Bell? History shows that the answer to these questions could decide the outcome of the game. Since 2020, the Boilermakers are 4-1 when Bell has 120 plus receiving yards and 0-6 when he doesn't. David Bell isn't Purdue's only weapon, but if the Hawkeyes find a way to blunt him in this game, they should be able to keep the Boilermaker offense in check. Can Iowa's passing game overcome a stingy defense? While Jeff Brom's Purdue teams are more closely associated with throwing passing touchdowns than preventing them, the Boilermaker pass defense has emerged as a strength of the 2021 squad. Purdue is allowing fewer passing yards per game than any team in the conference at 175.2 and is the only Big Ten team to surrender fewer than 4 touchdowns through the air this season. I want to show you guys Purdue here real quick, and this is the last thing I think I'm going to show you guys. Here are the stats side by side here. Iowa versus Purdue. Let's it's on ESPN. Here it is. There we go. Iowa has an 81.8% chance of winning this game according to the Power Index. Here are the side-by-side comparisons. Doru for Purdue has 221 yards compared to Tyler Goodson's 518. David Bell has 439 yards and 3 tubs compared to Sam Laporta with 271. Here are the team stats right here. Points per game, Purdue allows 23.6, or excuse me. The bottom line is, guys, that Purdue this season is actually better defensively than they are offensively. Look at this. Points per game, Purdue only averages 23.6 points per game compared to Iowa, who scores 31.5. Points allowed per game, Purdue only allows 15.4, whereas Iowa allows 13. Passing yards, Purdue has 325.4 per game compared to Iowa's 194. And rushing, Purdue has 89.4 compared to Iowa's 123.3. And yards allowed, Purdue gives up 300 yards of offense every game, whereas Iowa gives up 274. Passing yards allowed 175.2 compared to Iowa's 183.7. And on the ground, Purdue gives up 124.4 yards a game, whereas Iowa gives up 90. Iowa needs to attack the rush game. All right, guys, I'm going to read you guys' comments, and then we will get out of here. Bottom line, Iowa needs to establish the run. I am hoping that Iowa finally gets their passing game. Well, not even the passing game, just everything on track. Every single game we have seen has been just, it's good here, but it's bad here. You know, will we see more Keegan Johnson? Will we see more Arlen Bruce? I do expect, eventually Tyler Goodson and the Iowa rushing attack to get back on track and become the running game that they absolutely can be. I'm not really concerned about this game, Iowa fans. I'm really not. Iowa, as long as they take this game seriously, they're at home. They're 11 and a half point favorites. I feel very good about this game. I'm taking the Iowa Hawkeyes 28-17 in this game. I feel very good that Iowa will get this done and win by 10 plus points. I really feel good about it. All right, guys, I'm going to read your guys' comments, and then we will get up out of here. All right, let's go. Who was the last comment I read? Oh, by the way, defensively, Iowa is, the one interesting thing to see is what will happen with Terry Roberts. Terry Roberts is going to be the cornerback that replaces Riley Moss. But I'll be honest, guys, I feel just fine with him. If there's one injury or one position Iowa can be okay at, it is the cornerback position. All right. Let's see here. Petrus needs Blake Jamieson. Petrus needs to get more decisive, get strong on his feet, and get on his horse when he needs to run. Sometimes he does hold the football far too long, which does bother me. Carlos Danger, a lot of upside in the ranking with some big games on the way. Michael Moore, my favorite quarterback is Nate Stanley. Woo! Blake Jamieson, Drew Tate, my fave, then Banks, then Beathard. I like it. Those are good lists. My favorite is CJ Beathard. Ricky Stanzu would be my second favorite. If you don't love it, leave it. Such a funny, awesome quote. And he wasn't even talking. He was just, he didn't even know what he was saying there, to be honest. He was just, just answer. It was something that the 2009 team would just say out loud. They would say it together. If you don't love it, leave it. Anyways, little pregame appetizer, Bug Eaters down 21-9 in the third from Joseph Walters. What is Petrus' 40-yard dash time? He probably runs a 4.9. If I had to guess. Joseph Walters says 12 seconds. Michael Stone, I must be the oldest fan here today. Long way from my favorite quarterback. Just so you guys know, the people who watch this show, it's pretty even. My show, it's pretty evenly spread out. There's 18 to 25-year-olds that watch this show. Middle age. It's pretty much everything. It's everything. So, there is no primary group. I will say there are more men that watch my show than women, but other than that, it's pretty spread out. Joseph Walters, yes, they do, and I love every bit of it. Hi, Hawkeye, 33-20, Hawks win. I like it. I like that pick. Joseph Walters, 34-14, good guys. The Heartland Show from Eventide is a good one, too. Shows some of the inside stories of Iowa student athletes during the fall and winter. Quite a bit of football is on there. I agree. The Heartland is a good show. I agree. But if I were to do it, what I would do is I would travel around Iowa City, interviewing you guys, the Iowa fans, and showing off all of the awesome places to eat, awesome places to hang out, some of the cool spots to hang on campus and around Iowa City, and just really show off. I would show the weight room. I would show how the Iowa Hawkeyes train. That's probably the biggest thing that I'm interested in, is how Iowa players train, and things like that. So, but yeah, it's a good show. Let's see here. Spencer Idesmore. Beathard, definitely my favorite. My dad's was Tate. Dean Freen, on paper, Iowa better team. I'm still worried. Gotcha, Dean. Joseph Walters, yeah, with Beathard in, you knew he could pull something special to come from behind and win, even if it's the last drive. Brian Stockstad, this is always a close game. Hopefully not. Field goals always seem to be a difference. True. Good news is Iowa has one of the best field goal kickers in the country. Iowa has an elite defense and an elite special teams, so we are golden there. How many games has Iowa won because of their special teams? Probably 4 or 5. They definitely beat Penn State because of Torrey Taylor and Caleb Shudak. It's unbelievable. Dean Freen, Chuck Long was my favorite. Evan Tide, Arlen Bruce, and Keegan Johnson will be two of the most outstanding receivers, and that may be even on an historical aspect. I really hope so. We've been high on Iowa wide receivers before, but I will say they do look very explosive. They look very solid as route runners, and they have a knack for making big plays. The one thing that I always say about the wide receiver group, when you look at Iowa's wide receivers, they never help out the Iowa quarterback. Whereas you look at a guy like David Bell, he always bails out his quarterback from when the quarterback makes a bad throw. And that is what separates an elite wide receiver and an average one. And right now, unfortunately, Iowa has a bunch of average wide receivers. However, guys like Arlen Bruce and Keegan Johnson and even Tyrone Tracy do really have a chance to move forward. It's just they need to do it. They need to do it. I'm starting to get frustrated with them. Best quarterback is Gordy Bohannon from High Hawkeye. I like that. That's good. That's a good callback. Brian Stokestad. Is Stokestad Norwegian? Is that Norwegian? Jacobs and Belton are definitely difference makers. They give us speed where we didn't used to have it. That's true. Joseph Walters, I'm 37 male and identify as a Hawk fan. That was good. I like that. That's funny. 65, born in Iowa City while my dad was a student and radio jock on KXIC, Dean Freen. Joseph Walters, nice. Bryad Stokestad, your show needs to go viral. I'm a Hawkeye residing in Germany, and these discussions are great, are a great lead into the game. I really appreciate it. We are all in this together. That's why I started this. There's no one who does anything like this that's an Iowa fan. That's why I wanted to do this. However, Dean knows this. We did. The first show I started was with Cavante Martin Manley, and it did okay. It did fine. But that's probably the biggest reason why I'm not a big believer in interviewing former players, is because I had Cavante on the show and he was boring, in all honesty. So that's why I would rather have you guys call in the fans and do that. But as far as making this show go viral, I won't stop you. Do what you can. Share it out with your friends. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers. Once it gets to 1,000 subscribers, this channel can be monetized. And the more that I get helped out financially or whatever, the more time that I can invest into this. As you guys can see, I have some degrees. I have a master's degree in psychology, and I really do like doing that. But if there was an avenue to do something like this, I would absolutely jump on it and do it. I won't even lie about that. Brian Stokestad. Yes. Got to go without Brad Banks as one of the best quarterbacks. If it wasn't for Reggie Bush, Banks was the Heisman winner. True. Banks should have won that. No doubt about it. Let's watch this one more time, guys. We got to watch this.
For Spencer.
Can you guys imagine what it would have felt like to be Nico Reganey, aka Nico Raggiani, in that moment? It's so funny watching that. The guy goes, touchdown, oh, like that. It's so funny. I love those. I don't listen to the commentators, but when Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt are on it, I do listen to. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm picking the Hawkeyes all the way. I'm not really concerned about this game. I feel really good about Iowa taking care of business here and getting the win. I might come back at halftime and hang out, but if I don't, I will definitely be here post-game to talk about the Iowa Hawkeyes and take a look around the country and see what else happens. So at the very least, come and hang out here post-game and have a chat. Definitely taking the Hawkeyes, ladies and gentlemen. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Help me get to 1,000. Us as a channel all together, we will do it. But if you can't, just like, and comment. I try and read all you guys' comments and interact with all you guys. That's why I started this in the first place. All right, guys. DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. And facts or feelings, your feelings don't matter. Love y'all. Go Hawks. See you guys post game. Bye.